Regular performance testing over the course of a year is a great way to see where you're at as a team or as an individual.
In the off and pre-season, you can measure how effective your training has actually been at making you fitter, stronger, and more powerful.
While during the in-season, you can use testing as a way of measuring fatigue and freshness levels on an individual and team-wide basis to gauge how hard you should be training.
Today's the Coaches Combine. So Neil, James and myself will be putting ourselves through the tests to see where we stand and show you the most important and the best tests we use here at Core Advantage. We'll also be providing some tips and tricks to help you get the best scores possible.
Anthropometry is the study of human dimensions.
Everything from body fat percentage to the length of your nose can be considered anthropometry.
For this section of testing, we have 4 measures.
First is height, without shoes.
Then arm span and hand span.
The key takeaway from these tests is the ratio between your height and arm span. An arm span longer than your height is usually best, as is a larger hand span.
And last is body weight.
Body weight alone doesn't actually tell you much. Negative things like dehydration or having low glycogen stores can actually reduce your weight, while positive factors like gaining muscle mass, or if you're a junior, just growing taller, is going to have a positive effect on your performance, but your weight's going to go up as a result. What body weight does give you though is a general radar for your health. Smooth, gradual, even fluctuations in body weight are much more conducive of high performance than sharp peaks and troughs.
The vertical leap is one of the best tests an athlete can do to determine their lower body power. And it's not just for volleyballers and basketballers, but pretty much any sport imaginable.
Even hitting and striking sports like golf. Cycling
Will improve performance when their vertical leap goes up.
And it's for exactly this reason that we measure a standing vertical and not a running jump test, as the running jump gives your basketballers and your footballers too big of an advantage.
It isn't about skill, but more about pure lower body power.
The big key to your vertical leap is your arm swing. More than 25% of your jump comes from a good, powerful arm drive. The second big mistake everyone makes is they don't rest enough between jumps. At least 30 to 45 seconds, because every jump is a max effort. That's a lot of nervous system load. And try to land soft. In pretty much every sport, speed kills. The athlete who can get to the ball or close down a space first is in the box seat.
Acceleration in particular is what wins games. The ability to explode in your first 3 or 4 steps is the difference between winning and losing.
We weren't happy with using timing gates for measuring speed, so we've custom built our own system that not only gives us unlimited splits, but also gives us peak velocity and the potential for deeper analysis of athletes' speed and acceleration characteristics.
There are 4 big keys to a good 5 and 10 metre sprint. The first of those is a good starting position.
You want to imagine you're winding your body and legs into your starting position like coiling a spring.
Second is arm drive. As the knee explodes up and out, you should throw the arm back aggressively. The harder you drive the arm back, the faster your knee will drive through.
The third thing is to avoid a heel strike. Anytime you spend striking the ground with your heel is a braking force that's going to slow you down.
point strong. So often athletes doing 10 metres will only do 8. Make sure you push all the way through the codes. Agility can be defined as a rapid whole body movement in response to a stimulus, and it's really tricky to test.
On the one hand, you want your test to be sport specific, but because sport is so chaotic and there's so many specific situations that happen in different sports, that's really hard to do. And to consider all the factors that make up agility, it's nearly impossible to design those tests.
But on the other hand, the test needs to be repeatable, both between two athletes so they can compare results, and also over time so they can track their improvement.
We are using a modified 5-10-5 test.
It's modified because we are measuring in metres instead of yards, and secondly because we have taken out the hand touches on each line. The athletes start in the middle, turn and sprint 5 metres to one side, then they turn and sprint the 10 metres in the other direction before sprinting back through the middle.
Now this drill is technically not an agility test because there's no reaction to a stimulus. That's okay because what we're testing is an athlete's change to direction, probably the most important factor in agility performance.
And just like with your speed tests, make sure you sprint through that last line. Go get that line, come on.
Slipped. Damn it! Yeah.
Athletes, don't wear shoes like these. Bring your proper runners. For strength, we're doing 2 tests, one for the upper body and one for the lower body.
The upper test is maximum push-ups.
For the push-up to count, you must get your upper arm just below parallel at the bottom, fully back to extension at the top, and your core isn't allowed to sag.
For lower body, the most common way to test your strength is with a 1, 3 or 5 rep max attempt.
Taking your heavy compound lifts to their absolute limit isn't always, but can be dangerous, particularly for juniors, and good form is always the first thing to go.
Instead, we'll be taking our athletes' personal best from their last program, whether it's their squat, core lift, hip thrust, or something else, and dividing it by their body weight to get a relative strength score. One physical characteristic we aren't testing in this combine is fitness, but we do still offer it as part of our testing service.
The yo-yo test is by far the easiest and fastest way for team and ball sport athletes to test their anaerobic fitness and VO2 max.
We also run time trials of all distances for field-based sports like AFL, soccer and rugby.
And repeat sprint tests to establish fatigue index.
All of these tests hurt a bunch. And so our athletes for our in-house combine and our first athletic testing camp can be very thankful that we haven't decided which one we like best yet. The last and possibly the most important part of the entire testing process is to actually do something with the results. After your testing session, every athlete will receive a digital copy and a hard copy of their results. This allows you to track all your athletic qualities, and also you can chart your progress between testing sessions. We then take you through your results, showing you where you sit compared to athletes of a similar age and sport, and how you stack up to elite standards. We also provide coaches with all the data and advice needed to help their team maximise their athleticism and reduce injury potential. Our athletic profiling system will show you exactly where you're thriving and where you might be struggling athletically. Whether it's fitness, speed, strength or power, our profiling system will show you exactly what you need to be working on to improve your athleticism. Our Core Advantage testing handout will give you a safe place to keep track of all your results, along with our testing info pack, which gives you heaps of tips, advice and tricks on how you can improve in the future.